Hi guys, I know it's been a minute since I've made a video, but I'm back with 6 spooky reads. I have 3 here, but that's because I donated 3 of them already to my local bookstore. So I know Halloween just passed, but it's never a bad time to read some good horror and thriller books. These are perfect, cozy fall reads. So let's just get into it. The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. I wanted to pick this up and read it as soon as I saw that Holly Jackson put out a new book because I love Holly Jackson. I love A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, as you guys may already know. This book is about a girl named Belle whose mom disappeared when she was very young, and she pretty much grew up without her. She was raised by her dad, and she never saw her mom again until when she's 18. Her mom, Rachel Price, reappears out of nowhere wearing the exact same outfit she was wearing when she went missing, with this crazy story of what happened to her. And Belle doesn't really know her mom, and she's not even sure that she believes this whole story. So she's trying to figure out why her mom really disappeared and why she came back. There are 2 things I really like in a book. Number 1 is tension, and number 2 is adult drama told from a child's perspective. And this book absolutely has both. That first scene where Rachel Price reappears has so much tension. I couldn't get that scene out of my head for a long time. I was like, what is going on behind these words that they're saying? I had a theory the whole time, and I ended up being on the right track, but the actual story is way more wild than I could have even imagined. And if you're someone who doesn't really like books with vague endings where loose ends don't get tied up, this is a good one because they touch on everything. Like, every detail is tied together in the end. This book is so gripping. It really had my attention from the beginning to the end. Holly Jackson has redeemed herself. Not that she ever really needed to, but personally for me, I was a big fan of the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. And if you haven't read anything else by Holly Jackson, I would just skip 5 Survive and go straight to this one. That's just my personal opinion though. Love Holly Jackson, amazing writer. This book for me is a 5 out of 5 stars. Next we have We Spread by Ian Reid. I really wanted to read this one after I read I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid, which is like one of my favorite books. We Spread is about an artist named Penny who is getting very old, and her memory is starting to fail her a bit, and she's sort of suspicious of everything, and she ends up going to a new nursing home as the days kind of start to blur together, and she kind of loses track of the passage of time. This book is like a very like what is real and what is not real type of book. In my opinion, this book wasn't really scary. I feel like the horror could have been amped up a lot. I don't know if this was really marketed as a horror. It definitely has that nice, interesting air of uncertainty the whole time you're reading this book. It raises a lot of philosophical questions about what it means to live and die and what it means for something to be complete. I found it very poetic, actually. There were a couple things that I really thought we would have answers to by the end that we just didn't get. I really like Ian Reid's writing style. There's something about it that just speaks to me, and I think that's what carried me through this story, even though it wasn't my absolute favorite. I would give it a 4 out of 5. The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. I had been wanting to read this one for a while, and I am so excited to talk about this one right now. So this is a Carrie retelling with sort of a twist. It's about a girl named Maddie. This takes place in a small southern racist town where they're used to having segregated proms, and this is about their very first integrated prom. Maddie Washington, who's biracial, is the main character. This book follows a lot of different perspectives, which allows us to see different levels of racism, some more outright evil and some so subtle that the character doesn't even realize that they're doing it. I have never read the original Carrie or seen the movie, so I can't really tell you how accurate this plot is to the original, but I can tell you that it was a very good horror. Just a very enjoyable read through and through. I would give this a 5 out of 5 stars. Next, We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This is about an outcast family with a dark secret. Our main character is Mary Cat, who lives with her sister, and other than their uncle, they're the only surviving family members of an accident that happened to their family a little while back, and the entire town seems to hate them and gossip about them, and it's about their life as complete outcasts as we uncover what this incident may have been. I would describe this book as bizarre cottagecore. It's like my sister's cooking gingerbread in the sunlit kitchen, but then I have to nail this book to a tree to make sure nothing bad happens to my family. I think this is supposed to be a horror. For me, it was never outright scary. It was just more weird. This is the most different book that I've read in a long time. It was published in 1962, which I typically read more modern books. So, and if you think you haven't heard of Shirley Jackson, you probably have. She wrote The Lottery. If you went to public school, you've probably read that story. I read it in 8th grade, and it kind of traumatized me. Overall, this book is good. It's weird, maybe a little slow paced, but definitely different and cool. I think I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, next we have Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Amide. This one is about a very rich private academy where an anonymous person going by Aces starts texting out secrets about the student body. It follows two perspectives, Chiamaka and Devon. They're not friends, but they happen to be the only black students at this private academy, and they seem to be the targets of this Aces person, and they're starting to think there might be a reason for that. This book addresses racism, classism, and homophobia and how they kind of all can intersect. This book has unique relationships, at least in terms of what I'm kind of used to reading in YA. I've seen this marketed as Get Out meets Gossip Girl, and I could totally see that. I don't know a ton about Gossip Girl, but from what I know about it, that's very accurate. And Get Out, I mean, if you're reading this and you're thinking this is nothing like Get Out, just wait. Just wait for the reveal. I would also add Pretty Little Liars in there. I think this kind of gives that vibe. I could see this being a TV series. The big ending scene kind of played out more like a movie or a TV series would than a book. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it was very like theatrical and campy, I guess. Something that I could like so see happening in Pretty Little Liars or something like that. Overall, I think I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. And last but not least, The Mary Shelley Club by Goldie Moldavsky. This is about a girl named Rachel Chavez who starts attending a new school and quickly learns that there's a club, that there's sort of an underground club called the Mary Shelley Club, where students essentially play horror pranks on different members of the student body. And she joins this club. This has a very YA voice. I know, like, duh, it's YA, but it has like a very teen voice. Like, oh my god, my mom. It's a little campy. It has a lot of over-the-top personalities and dialogue. There are a lot of horror movie references in this, and I mean a lot. I actually don't like horror movies. I like horror books, but I just can't get into horror movies, so I didn't get pretty much any of the references, but I think if you like horror movies, you would really enjoy this because there's whole scenes of the characters just like talking about and discussing horror movies. It's a bit slow to start, but it really picks up in the final third. Like, so much goes down. There was one character that really intrigued me like the whole way through. Somehow one of the main characters remains like very mysterious and interesting throughout this whole book, even though some of the other characters are a little bit more like one-dimensional and stereotypical, but I think it's like part of the sort of campy humor. I think that was done on purpose, you know. Overall, I liked it. Very fun for Halloween or whenever. I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars. And yeah, that's it. Those are my 6 horror and thriller recommendations for today. Let me know if you have any requests for videos or anything like that. I'm going to try to get back into making content on this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and keep on reading, and I'll see you next time. Peace.